Well, hello everyone and welcome to Chef Shelley's Kitchen. So I have a real treat today. Actually, I'm going to put this over here so we don't get any fire alarms going off. I have a real treat today. We're going to make Brussels sprouts. And if you're like me, more than likely you haven't really had a lot of Brussels sprouts, or you've not cooked Brussels sprouts. As a matter of fact, I cooked Brussels sprouts for the first time about 2 weeks ago. So my husband and I had a date night at a cooking class, and one of the things that we made was this amazing Brussels sprout dish, and I thought, man, this is really something that I'd like to cook. It was so delicious, and something that now I think I'm going to grow in my garden as well. It's very simple, very easy, and you know, a lot of people, oh, I don't like Brussels sprout. Well, do you like cabbage? Then you like Brussels sprouts. So what I'm doing, I actually started my heat so that it could get going. What you're going to do is actually put in your pan just enough kind of olive oil, just putting enough here to kind of, not too much, just spreading it, coating it lightly, like so it's covered all the way. And we're going to get some sizzling action going on, because the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cook bacon. So if you are a pork eating person, this is where you cook yourself. And I'm using about a ½ pound of Brussels sprouts. So what you could do is just take 2 pieces of bacon, 2 bacon strips, and slice it. And what I've done is I've kind of sliced them in these little squares, or you can make thin slices. Now you're probably looking and saying, Shelley, that's not bacon. It's actually turkey bacon, because if you remember, I don't eat pork or red meat. So I'm going to put this in the pan, and I'm going to spread it out kind of evenly. And yes, it is going to be more oil than I'm going to need. And that's essentially because we're going to use the oil with the Brussels sprouts. But the first thing you do is you actually cook the bacon first, because the bacon juice is then used for the seasoning for the Brussels sprouts. But again, this has just turned out to be an absolutely amazing dish. I'm just trying to separate them. You want to kind of get them separated. And I'm going to cook mine till it's a little crunchy. And so you don't want to burn it. You don't want to overcook it. But yeah, kind of want to make it a little crunchy. So we're going to kind of let that saute. So while that's doing its thing, and that should take fairly, short amount of time. What I've done is I've already sliced the Brussels sprouts, but I left a couple so I could show you how to do it. And essentially you're cutting off the bottoms, and then you're cutting them in half. So as I said, this is about a ½ pound, and very affordable in the grocery stores. So what I'm doing, I've already washed these. You're just going to cut the back end of the Brussels sprouts off, like so. And then you just cut it in half, okay? So these are your mini cabbage. You just set them aside. Once again, cut off the bottom and then cut it in half. Just as simple as that. So we're going to put this here. The other thing that I have going on is I have a paper towel that I'm going to set the completed bacon on so it can drain. So again, for those of you that are pork eaters, you'll certainly have a lot of grease because the pork has its own grease, and then I'm saying grease, but it has its own oil. Plus, of course, we have the olive oil. So you can see that's coming along really nicely. So while that's doing its thing, and we're going to probably turn this in a couple of minutes, is I'll just talk real quickly about some of the other ingredients. Very simple. We have sea salt, we have pepper, and we have a tablespoon and a half of brown sugar. Now we discovered at this class that there's like smoked brown sugar. It was simply delightful. I think you have to find it at a specialty food store for sure. We don't have that, so regular brown sugar will do just fine. So you notice I'm turning these over. These aren't really big pieces, so it's gonna be done in a zippity zap. And then what we're going to do is once these are cooked, we set them aside. We use the oil as I mentioned, and there we go. It's getting a little hot there, so let's turn this off for now. So I'm gonna let that keep cooking. While I do that, I'm gonna add the salt, the pepper, and then the brown sugar. So you're just really gonna kind of coat these pretty nicely. Again, I would say, a nice generous amount. You do the same thing with your pepper. Just spray it on like so. Get it nice and done. And then you're going to add the brown sugar also. And you're going to mix this around. Just kind of stirring it around like that. Just a little bit. Because what's going to happen is we're going to pour our oil in here. And then we're going to put it back in that frying pan there. Okay? So our bacon is done. I mean, it's pretty much done, as you can see. I don't want it too hard, too crispy. So I'm just going to take it and just put it on my paper towel so it can drain the oil out of it. But again, I need that oil because I've got to use that to pour over here, okay? Because it gives it that taste. All right, it's all about taste, right? So now what we're going to do is I'm going to take this oil and I'm actually going to pour it onto the Brussels sprouts. I'm going to leave that as is. And this is going to help to mix and coat, if you will, the brown sugar, the salt and pepper. You're basically trying to get the brown sugar onto the Brussels sprouts. And then we're going to actually put the Brussels sprouts back into the frying pan, and I'm going to say face down, okay? What was interesting I learned about Brussels sprouts is you can tell when they're done when the tops of them become really dark green. So we're going to go on now and put these back here in the same pan. I'm going to turn down the heat a little bit so it's not popping all over the place. And you're going to individually turn these over, okay? Because what needs to cook, you'll know it's done when the insides are a little brown. So I am individually turning them over like so. That one's stubborn. And again, I remember I talked to my sister, I was telling her about it, and she goes, I don't like Brussels sprouts. It's like, when did you have Brussels sprouts? Well, I haven't had Brussels sprouts. And most people would probably say, I don't like Brussels sprouts. But it's not because they've tried it. It's usually because they look funny, right? And they do. But let me tell you, you try this, you're going to love Brussels sprouts. You're going to be serving Brussels sprouts from now on. And what I'm going to do is, once I turn this over, we're just going to let it just kind of brown, do its thing. I'm not even really going to do anything with it. And then I'm going to find a really nice dish to put the completed product in. So I'm going to turn it this way. We're just going to kind of let this one last one. So you'll see I've got them all turned over as so, okay? And we'll know they're done when the tops turn dark green, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like on the other side, okay? So we've got this at a good heat. I'm going to start doing what my dad does, start cleaning things up. All right, so we're going to get this out of the way. I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to find myself another bowl that I can then transfer it into. So let's just take one from here, a nice beautiful clear bowl, and then what we're going to do is once they're done, we're going to put them in a bowl, and then we're simply going to take the bacon that we cooked and then mix it together, and voila, it's going to be done. So notice how fast, simple, easy, and They're delicious, they're healthy. As I said, you might be saying, I don't like Brussels sprouts. When did you eat Brussels sprouts? You know, probably never. So these are doing nicely. And again, I'm going to, they're getting there. They're certainly not there. So let's turn the heat up just a little bit. I have mine just on medium heat, just so that we can get this nice and done. We don't want it too fast, but we're not going to be here all day either. So I know some of you have shared with me that you love watching the videos, that you miss them not being every week. I'm sorry about that, but what I can tell you is that, hey, if you, you know, there are about 28, 29 videos out there. Surely you probably haven't seen them all. You know, go back from the beginning, be it if you're looking at it at YouTube or Facebook, and, you know, take a look at some of the videos that you haven't seen yet. So this working girl does this on the side, and so with a lot going on, I appreciate you all still being interested in tuning in every other week, but there's still lots out there, okay? I'm just appreciative for those that have decided to tune in. Okay, these are looking really good. I'm going to turn over one to see how it looks. So see how it's turning brown like that? You want it just a little bit browner, just like so. Okay. And as I mentioned, the only thing we're going to be doing is taking the bacon. Once you put it in the bowl, put it on top, and it's going to be ready for some good eating. Okay? All right, I think we're almost there, guys, because these are really nice and green. Again, it's not meant to be cooked too long. They're not that big. That's why we turn them over. And I think that's a really good color right there. So see if we can bring it up a little closer. You can kind of see what it looks like. But I think that looks really good. Let's try one of the bigger ones. That looks even better. Okay, that's what you're after right there. This color right here is what you're after. Okay, so let's just kind of move these around a little bit. And you don't want to do too much to them because you don't want the, you know, the top parts to come off. Okay. All right. I'm going to say that we're just about there. So I don't want to overcook. Yes. That looks fantastic. Okay. So we are done. We're definitely done. What I'm going to do now is just take these, turn off my heat, and I'm going to put these in the bowl. Just put them in the bowl like so. And you're going to see kind of the mixture of color. And then we're going to take the bacon that we cooked a little earlier. And of course, I'm going to show you how this looks. Fantastic and delicious and healthy. And again, the healthy option here is that, you know, use turkey bacon instead of regular bacon. But, you know, if you love regular bacon, you know, it's nothing wrong with adding about, you know, 2 slices and cutting it up. So here you go. Again, we use olive oil, so that's a great treat. We use brown sugar instead of regular sugar. But this is your beautiful and delicious Brussels sprouts with bacon. Mine is turkey bacon. Just, we're about to enjoy this for dinner. So thanks for tuning in once again. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.